and welcome to episode 3 of Under Fire. My name's Sam, and I'm here with the only independent character I would let join my squad. It's Sam.
Hello.
I'm going to run out of them.
I've liked it.
This week was a struggle, and it's only episode 3, so I am going to run out at some point. The title of this episode is The Hobby Butterfly. What we're going to be talking about is distractions within wargaming.
Yes. Not in life.
No, well, they are some of the distractions. So the idea came to me when I was organising my Shadespire cards rather than painting models for 40,000.
It's a task that needs doing,
but it is a little bit of a distraction from Warhammer 40,000.
Yes.
So we're talking a little bit about that in this episode. But first,
the hobby pledges.
The reason you all watch.
Would you like to go first?
I very much like
to go first.
I'll go first. I completed my pledge. I completed the Leviathan. You know when... This is going to sound really big-headed, and I'm going to try and not sound big-headed, but you know when you paint a model and you feel like you've gone up a level with your painting?
You've improved on... Yes. Yeah.
I think the Leviathan is the best painting model I've done to date. Good. I believe.
Cool.
I think I'm very happy with it.
I've not seen it in person. I'm not to judge. I mean, I haven't seen it.
To be honest with you, I've not actually put a finished picture out yet.
Yeah.
To be honest,
yeah.
So I will get that. It does need transfers.
Okay.
I said last week.
But it's painted.
That it might need transfers. I do think it doesn't look. It's funny because it's got the forged fiend weapons on either side. If you look at it from the left or right, it looks really chaotic. But when you look at it straight on,
Imperial.
It looks it could be an Ultramarines.
Yeah.
Leviathan. So it needs that, but it is finished, based. I did a nice flag on top, white fabric, painted white fabric.
I hate white in general. But,
So I did it with I airbrushed up from a grey,
and
then I went in with a really thin blue into the folds. It looks quite good.
Yeah, that's nice.
If you look close, it's
Magnus. He's got a bit of loincloth going on, hasn't he? That similar sort of thing, like white
with Magnus. I used the Nylock oxide to shade it.
Oh yeah.
Which did work. I think the blue looks a little bit better. They look a bit cleaner.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy with it.
The picture you put up on Instagram, the work in progress.
Yeah.
It looked good. It looked really good.
The edge highlighting, I did the panel modulation on it. I was like, that looked good. And then I did all the edge highlighting, and I was like, that's.
You can see, you could see it really picks everything up proper then.
So I'm quite happy with it.
That's cool.
And I don't very rarely look at a model and think I'm happy with that. Whereas this time,
the fact that you've never come to me and gone, I would say this is the best thing I've done. You know what I mean? You've never come and said, this is the best thing I've actually done. So that in itself,
it's a good thing.
Is a very good.
So I'll pop a picture up anyway on the video.
You guys can be able to see it.
Have a look. Did you finish your pledge? He says, acting like he doesn't know the answer to the question.
Well, why don't we just move on?
Never can't. The people want to see your finished pledge.
Well, I didn't actually finish my pledge.
We know, and you know what that means. We have our first doom wheel spin. So what happened?
I could sit here and make excuses, but it comes down to it. I just didn't have time. Other stuff got in the way.
The doom wheel cares little for your problems.
It has there's no remorse.
It has no sympathy.
From its spinning.
So how much did you get done?
In my defence, I pledged to do a tank, the Razorback for my Space Marines, 5 Tactical Marines, and an Apocryphy.
That's what.
And an Apocryphy. That was just too much to do.
This is the beauty of the doom wheel, because if you overpromise, you'll be punished. You've got to really get your pledges in that nice little window of what you can get done.
The time. I mean, to be fair, there was a couple of nights where we played the computer.
Yeah, there was a bit of that,
and probably should have painted.
Never mind.
It's what it is. But I got Tactical Marines painted, not assembled.
Yeah, but I don't think that matters. This is a painting challenge.
True. Basically, everything is painted. I even did some weathering on the tank.
See, this is your problem. You always go to that little extra.
I was looking at it. I thought that just needs a bit of magic.
How long did you spend on the lenses of the tank?
Genuinely, the lenses look crap. I've
because I've known you spent an hour on a lens.
Yeah, I would spend a long time doing the little trims and stuff. That's the bit that I love doing. I hate base coats. It's just it's just wet. But I didn't take that much time doing the weathering. Actually, I probably it wouldn't have been enough time to paint the apocrypha, put it that way. But yeah, I failed.
Do you want to spin the wheel?
Bring the wheel on.
Yes. Give me some dark music. I'll add it in post. This is the moment that people have been waiting a whole 2 episodes for.
Well,
so,
I hope they've...
All the numbers on this wheel correspond to a particular forfeit. Some are worse than others. They range from eating a spoonful of hot sauce to buying me a model. I have the list. Would you like to spin? A good spin.
I don't want to spin.
Spin it. A good spin. Give it some...
A 1.
Welly.
A 2. A 3. 4.
Spin it! We have number 17.
And what does number 17 correspond to?
Ooh! It's not as bad as you think. Doesn't require you to eat anything.
Okay.
Doesn't require you to paint anything.
Okay.
Does mean that during our next game of Warhammer 40,000, I will be writing your army list.
Well...
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. You didn't have to... So some of the things on here are the Tower of Shame, which we discussed in our first episode, so you didn't get that.
Which would have been far worse.
You didn't get painting a model with only undiluted paint.
Oh.
Duncan would cringe.
Turning.
It'd be interesting to see what you could do with that.
I mean, technically, I suppose you could not dilute the paint, but you're not specifying how you paint with. Therefore, a dry brush uses undiluted paint because you just take a bit.
No.
You're saying paint only using undiluted paint.
No. Anyway, you didn't roll that anyway. But when that does come up, I'm not having that. Brush paint with undiluted paint.
Well, you need to specify.
And you can't use
specify on the wheel.
And you can't use airbrush paint and be like, well, it's undiluted.
Just airbrush. Yeah.
So I'll be writing your list for our next game, whenever that may be.
Well, I
will still lose. And it's the
thing is, it'll make me want to win even more.
And when I lose, it's going to be really embarrassing.
If you really proper try and give me a rubbish
I'll still lose.
You still,
yeah.
It has to be full points. You can't just go, we're playing 2K and go, I'm only going to bring
500 points.
And then the rest are in reserve, but you've got nothing in reserve.
Oh, yeah.
Which you can kind of do.
Well, we'll sort out the terms and conditions, but who decides the reserves? Is it done at the point of list making, or is it done at the point of the battle? But it's done at the point of the battle, isn't it?
Well, you've got. I think. Do you have to? I have to check that whether you have to actually
have it in the.
I think you have to. I think. Oh no, because you could say like Chaos could summon in demons. I don't believe because you can just. If you roll for like the summoning thing to summon them, they're reinforcements.
Which army am I doing a list for? You get to decide.
I get to decide,
and I'll do it between now, and I'll read it out next episode.
Well, I mean, you're limited to what models I've got, so the models probably the most of is Death Guard.
Okay, I should be writing a Death Guard list. If you have any ideas for terrible Death Guard units, please let me know. I'll put them together. Probably still, like I say, probably still win. It's going to be really embarrassing. But anyway, that was the Doom Wheel. Our first failure.
Yes. Well,
we'll keep a tally of failures. See who fails the most.
What can you do?
Life gets in the way.
What can you do?
And the Doom Wheel punishes.
I overpromised. Too much stuff. Too much. It wasn't actually that much, but I just didn't have enough time. So.
Pledges for the next 2 weeks. Should I like me to give mine? I'm going light.
Hit me.
It's not light, actually, because if you've never painted these models, you can't judge me because you've never painted them. I'm going to finish my 5 Rubric Marines, which sounds light, but unless you've painted all that gold trim, I do not accept your judgment.
Okay.
Because you don't know the pain. I'll just do that. You don't know the pain.
Well,
so 5 Rubric Marines finished, based, done, is my pledge.
Okay.
And I'll explain why I'm not pledging more when we discuss other plans.
Okay. Okay. Well, my pledge is I mean, I'm on the ropes after this week. I'm on the ropes, but I am not going to be here for a full 2 weeks. I'm going on holiday for a little bit. So what I'm going to pledge is the remainder of last week's pledge.
Okay, I'll accept it.
I'm going to finish, and I'm going to at least prep and make part of my soul grinder, which I'll talk to you in a minute about. But
cool.
That would be, I'm gonna something like that. So start something prepping.
Finish off what you failed.
Finished what I failed, and
start the soul grinder.
Start the soul grinder. Excellent. Making, not painting.
So that's the pledges out of the way.
Done.
What else have you been doing? Probably nothing because you failed the.
Well, yeah.
It's been a slow one.
It's been a bit of a slow 2 weeks because of just other stuff getting in the way and whatnot. But I have purchased some items. I purchased the soul grinder.
Okay, and the pieces
and bits and bobs to go with it. I've purchased a corpse cart that I'm going to integrate into it, which I think is going to actually look. I've measured stuff up and looked at where it sits on the model, and it's gonna look.
So you had time to measure up your soul grinder.
Shut up!
You didn't have time to respect the doom wheel.
No, and it stings. That wheel.
Yeah, you rolled well though. It could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse. I've seen a few things that you put down. I'm not gonna let it happen again. I'm gonna under-promise next time. Big time.
That is the trick. I did, on top of finishing my Leviathan, I did, apart from the bases, my worm spat, which is the Nurgle beast grave thing.
Mm.
Now, the way I paint, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know this, is I do high contrast stuff. So my Thousand Suns go from a really dark blue to a really light blue, and my Dark Eldar go from black to pink, and every colour in between.
Yeah.
I wanted to go in a different direction with them. So I came up with a bit of an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Every single colour that I've put on the model has Deathguard green mixed into it in some way or another.
Okay. Right.
So the flesh is flesh colours mixed with Deathguard green. The red cloth is corn red mixed with Deathguard green, which really kills the vibrancy of it.
Yeah.
The metallics have got Deathguard green in them. All the washes I didn't mix with Deathguard green, but I mixed with a green wash.
Yeah.
So it's gave the whole thing like a dank green sort of muck sort of feel to it. I really enjoyed. I had an absolute ball painting it. It was awesome. So I did the armor with the stippling and the masking fluid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Masking fluid.
Yeah.
The rust, so it looks all rusty, and then just went in with all these horribly greeny things, and the balance of colours is off because there's a lot of green.
Yeah.
They're not like the best things I've ever painted, but it was fun.
It's a cool.
It was a cool little thing. It was like literally everything, the wood, the brown mixed that with Deathguard green, everything, just to see what would happen. It was awesome. I mean, painting Nurgles is fun. That's one thing about it.
The good thing with Nurgle, from doing the Deathguard, you can mess up and it'd be like, that looks alright.
Yeah.
Look, that'll do. I've spilt Agractor shade all down that. It looks right. It looks cool. It looks good. That's what I love about Nurgle.
And I wanted to share a hobby tip that I've uncovered that probably to everyone else is like, but for me, this was quite a thing. So,
paintbrush with the bristles towards
washers. So, obviously, washers are great. You can slap them on and they look good. But I've always been like, if I put a wash on that, it's going to kill the colour. You know what I mean? It kind of kills what you've already done.
Yeah.
So what I've started doing is watering my washers down with Lamia medium.
Yes. Yeah.
No matter what, and then if I need to put another layer on, I can.
Yeah.
That is a game changer.
Oh,
I know it's simple.
Yeah.
But just
it does make a big
because it doesn't kill the colour so much, and if you've not got enough shade, I'll put another layer on.
Yeah.
So I go 4 Lamia medium to 1 wash.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very good if you want to do flesh. If you're doing flesh, but you don't want to just go with the Deathguard, I've done some flesh bits with them.
You don't want to darken it too much.
I want it to look bruised, but I don't want it to be that's purple.
Yeah.
So you do that and just glaze it over, and it comes up. Then it looks it's natural bruising. You know what I mean? It don't look quite as harsh.
So for me, that was was well happy.
Yeah,
So now I don't put washers on straight from the pot anymore.
Always mix them with.
Always mix them, because then you can always go in again and darken it up.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That's very
like
cool.
I say, probably a pretty obvious thing, but I wouldn't
say that's obvious.
It's the way Games Workshop present it is chuck a wash on it, you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'll be fine. And actually, trying to get out of that headspace of how Games Workshop seeks to paint, it's a perfectly reasonable way of painting.
Yeah.
But I think when you start understanding how paint and colour works, you can adapt it.
That's it. It's all about experimenting with all of that sort of stuff, and the mediums and bits like that. Yeah, when you're starting off, you're like, well, I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that in your life. But when you get into it, there's some really cool stuff you can do with them. Yeah, very cool.
Purchases.
Aye.
I went deep into my purchases. So last episode we spoke about Guild Ball and how it was ending, and there was a sale and we bought. So that turned up, sparked something within me.
Yeah.
So I bought another guild. I bought the Rat Catchers Guild, and then a guy on Facebook was selling the Hunters Guild that I really wanted, so I bought that off him. So I've got 2 more guilds.
Are they metal?
The Hunters are metal, the old school metal ones, which I'm really looking forward to painting a metal model again. I don't know why.
It's been a long time. I can't remember the last time I painted a metal model.
Like, obviously they're harder to work with, but just playing with a metal model always felt, because they have a bit more substance to them. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to building them, because if I remember rightly, it was a nightmare. But
just super glue everywhere.
Pinning and super gluing. But so they're on the way. And then this morning, I bought the other half of the Hunters Guild that was missing.
This is news to me.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to tell you.
What's the matter with you, man?
I'm sorry.
I haven't played the game.
No, but let me explain it. Let me explain why. Because...
I can't talk.
Let me explain why. Let me say.
Go on. I'm all ears.
I picked 3 guilds that I like. The Brewers, the Morticians, and the Hunters. So I'm just going to complete those 3 guilds, and then I've got them.
Got you.
So, but because they don't manufacture the models anymore, tracking some of the rarer stuff down is hard. So as soon as I see the models that I need, I'm just going to do it.
That's fair.
And just buy it piecemeal. The Morticians are like impossible to track down.
I mean, to be fair, the game is now out of...
Hopefully people will start getting rid of all their stuff, and I can mop it up. Because I have no problem with playing a game that doesn't get support anymore. So that was that. I listened to some more of 1,000 Suns.
Oh yeah.
Which is even better the second time through, apparently. There's a really interesting part where... So the Space Wolves come into it quite early, and they spend a bit of time with 1,000 Suns, and there's a great bit where Araman and a Space Wolf rune priest, who's got a really weird name, it's like Olafson or something, anyway,
typically
they're fighting together against these sort of chaosy demon things, and it says like the Space Wolves obviously just raw power, ferocity. Araman's fighting with like measured. So together they like complement each other, and they're like. And I thought it was really interesting, like the 1,000 Suns and the Space Wolves, if they could have just got along. Like they just seem to go really well together. Like they're sort of opposites, and they complement each other.
It was nobody's fault.
It was
nobody's fault.
You know, nobody did anything wrong. So that was really interesting. My only problem is the voice actor who's reading it does a fantastic job, but the Space Wolves sound a little bit Swedish. I think he's gone Scandinavian, but for me he's gone a little bit too...
He's gone way...
We are the Space Wolves! We are here for your axes! That's an exaggeration, but it is a little bit. I was listening to it when I was driving, and I was like, that's just a little bit too...
You want a gruff...
It wasn't gruff enough, I think.
A gruff sort of vibe.
Everything else is fat. The Magnus is a little bit, hello there, my name is... But I'm alright, I've got used to it. But this one Space Wolf guy is just like...
Hi!
he lands down and he starts having a go at Magnus or something. He's like... You are not a good man.
A big summer blood.
Yeah, that's what it is. It might probably just me, but other than that, it's fantastic.
That's cool. That's cool.
I think that's everything I've done, actually. Did the worm spat. I did a little bit on the other warband I've got, the Stormcast Eternal spell people.
Oh yeah.
But just like a bit little.
Just
I was messing about with some white because I don't don't think I'm going to paint them. I don't like the models for the Stormcast.
Stormcast.
Really.
It depends. The one I've got I quite like because they're just hammer. One of the guys has got a big hammer.
I've got the Magi ones.
Some of the range. I mean, going off. Some of the range for the Stormcast Stones. Not a fan of the Griffin things. No, the Griffin dog things.
It just doesn't tickle the fancy. So I did a bit on them, but not a lot. I think that is everything actually. It's not been as long as between episode 1 and 2. So
no, we had a bit more time. The same with me. I've just not had enough time. Last 2 weeks.
Life gets in the way. Yeah. So I've pledged my 5 Rubik Marines.
Yep.
However, the other thing I'm going to be working on is I'm going to start painting the Hunters for Guild Ball. Okay. And I'm going to go full bore. I'm going to try and do them as good as I could possibly do them.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to get the Darren Latham face tutorial up and do the faces all like that. I'm just going to really try and do, like, even if it takes me, even if by next episode I'm coming in, I'm saying I've done the cloak on one guy.
Yeah, you're gonna go full metal jacket
and just
heavy.
Try and do it as well and just see what it comes out like.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's a good little.
Because they are beautiful models.
Yep.
You only need 6 to actually play, so put a bit of time into it.
That is the thing with Guild Ball. It's such a nice game because there is only about it's just 5-6 models, and then I mean you have the start sets, you got the boards, you got all that bit. You're away.
Yeah, which I've made a point about later.
Oh, okay, right.
It's interesting.
Well, no, very good.
Excellent. So we'll take a quick break. That's everything we're up to, and when we come back, we'll do our Instagram pics, and we'll talk about games played, although there wasn't many.
No,
but we'll have a quick chat. We played some Underworld, so we can talk about that briefly. So we'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and we're talking about games played. Not a lot, unfortunately.
No,
but we've got 2 Underworlds games under our belt. Nothing 40k, so no update for the narrative campaign.
No.
Hence this episode being about distractions.
Yes, heavy distractions.
So we had 2 games of Underworlds.
Which we haven't played in a long time.
No, it's good to get back to it, actually. I actually forgot how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah. We have an awful lot of warbands.
I think we've got 6 each, haven't we?
Yeah.
Probably not an awful lot by some people's standards, but
true.
By our standards it's.
To be fair, yeah.
So we played...
good games.
Great games. The first one was the Godsworn Hunt, which is
Which was you?
The sort of Chaos Mortals, I suppose you describe them as.
Yeah.
Just with
barbarian sort of things.
Yeah. Against the
Garrick's Reavers.
Where I got truly spanked.
Kicked your ass.
Pretty much. I think it was my first game with the Godsworn.
Yeah. But it was my first game with Garrick's
True,
Reavers.
but...
So do you want to elaborate on that
I'm
one?
going to elaborate. The Godsworn, I think... I think they're a sort of warband where... Like, don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah.
But Garrick's Reavers, you can just charge them in, kill things, and you're going to win. That's how they go. That's how they roll. Yeah. Okay. You know what I mean, all your objectives were based on killing.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what the Godsworn Hunt were about, so I didn't know what objectives put into the deck, and I didn't know how they worked, and I'm still not sure how they work.
Yeah.
They inspire when you attach a bit of equipment to them, but you need to get an early kill to attach that bit of equipment unless you draw the right guards.
Yeah.
So they're interesting. I want to learn how to use them.
Yeah.
I love things like that where they're quite weak. They don't hit very hard.
No, it's one of them. There is a few like that are sort of they're in that weird spot. Where it's like
they're a bit more finesse to play, I think.
Than
a corn man with an axe.
Well, will you stop putting down?
I'm not putting it down.
Garrick's Reavers.
It's a perfectly reasonable play style. I'm just saying there is.
You couldn't handle.
What I'm saying
the
is
corn.
There are warbands that require skill, and there are warbands that don't.
Well, there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of skill in. I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. But there's quite a bit of. I do believe there's a bit of skill in it because.
No, there definitely is.
You've got that.
You can
obviously you can only move one at a time. I think I did. What I managed to do was get a good few of. I piled them all up.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
I just kept them as a one moving sort of thing. And that I think, because you, like you say, you didn't quite know what objectives to take and stuff like that. A new one is always a bit funny. Yeah, I think you had to, for a lot of it, you had to come at me.
Yeah.
But because I'm in a group of 3 and you had to come at me
Three
one at a time,
dudes.
it was like...
Yeah, it did go well for them.
But
So I got fully spanked. I don't know. I think the second game I didn't score a single glory, which is embarrassingly bad.
Yeah.
But
No, actually, the last game we had was fantastic of that. The last round.
Oh, everyone died.
Everyone died except one person.
And it was... I had a thing where if you hit me, you took damage.
Yeah.
And you had one guy left and you scored.
I'll hit... No, we had 2 each.
Yeah.
And I needed to hit you and die myself and then get off a really hard hit with this one last guy because I had the objective. If you were the last one standing,
it's like 6 glory.
Everybody else was dead, you get like 6, 7 glory.
Yeah, that was a beautiful ending.
It was a nice little...
You can see him atop a load of corpses, just like, I am Khorne's chosen.
But who cares?
I'm the new leader.
Khorne wins.
Yeah, no, that was good.
It was cool.
That was good. Then the second game we had was, I played the Nurgle warband, the Wormspat.
Yes.
And you played...
The Deer Woman.
Skaith's Wild Hunt.
It's something like that.
When we're playing, we kind of just make up names. Yeah. But that was a cracking game.
That was a good game.
The first game, remember the first round of the first game?
Yeah.
All we did was move.
Yeah.
And and we were silent as well. We were both really quiet and like focusing. And sometimes with 40k, I feel like you don't have that laser vision, chess level of focus.
That first turn was very much like, you can see how this is basically a game of chess with miniatures, and
I really enjoyed having that like.
It was good
thing,
but you did win that one.
I did win that one.
Got me in the end.
But we played 3 games. It was
very, very hard to kill them Wormspat.
So I built the deck around survival.
Yeah.
So the objectives are all like all 3 alive, not took any wounds.
Yeah.
Because I thought Nurgle.
That's what you do.
That's what we do. And it worked quite well. But we did. You won the second game. We played 3 rounds, didn't we?
I think I won the first one.
Yes, you did. Sorry, you won the first
the way we'd set up, I was sort of like, just you had to.
You got supremacy.
And I just sort of got a good early lead, and then I just sat there, sort of arrowing you and throwing stuff at you and stuff.
But it was it was a good game.
In hindsight, though, when we actually looked at it, I read through the rule book correctly. There was a lot we played wrong.
Yeah, but that's life. We both played it wrong, so it works out.
Yeah, it works out.
When we play Guild Ball after this, we will do a lot wrong.
Very true. Very true. I love the rules, though. I read through the Beast Graves sort of updated rulebook bits, and some of the stuff in there is so cool.
Yeah, I think
really cool.
It's a really good game.
Yeah,
it's definitely one I want to put more time into.
But that is all we played, really.
There was a free Steam weekend of the Underworlds game online.
Oh, right, yeah.
PC game. I downloaded that and had a few games. So I got to play with the Skaven Warband.
Yeah.
I got to play with the Khorne one, the Garrett Reavers. No, it wasn't the Garrett Reavers, sorry. It was the other Khorne one with the dog.
Yeah.
Perfectly reasonable game. Is it worth the 20 quid price tag? I don't think so. It wasn't. It was very simple. Here's the game. You play it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it lost something not being there with the cards.
It's one of them. It's. I think I've said before about it. It's like the Magic the Gathering online card game. It's like the whole, for me, is the whole thing of having that sort of thing is having the cards, like going through your physical cards and painting, and for Underworld, having the miniatures. Like having it's more about that.
It definitely lost
digital
something
version. Yeah.
If you're just playing Underworlds for the game, and you're not, because some people don't paint the models,
of course,
and that's what you care about. You'll love it. It is a game. You can deck build on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for me, I did buy it. Once the free weekend was over, I uninstalled it. I don't think I'll buy it.
It's gone.
But that's if you were thinking about getting in, it might help. It was good to play with. I played with the Orcs as well.
Yeah.
Which they were quite fun.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they sell them anymore because they've done the new Orcs.
I believe you can't get the Khorne guys, them ones. I can't remember what they were called, but the one with the dog. I don't think you can get them anymore.
No, they've definitely rotated somehow.
I don't think you can get the Skaven.
No, you can't get the Skaven anymore. But I have them unbuilt.
You have the
in my pile of shame.
You can't get the
sepulchral guard. Spectral guard.
Spectral with the pensioners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can get that. There's a few that you can't get now, but they're bringing out new ones constantly. So it is a very good game. So if you haven't tried it, it is a very good game to.
And the new box is coming out soon with the Slanesh warband, which I am.
Yeah, that was cool. That was very
craving.
Craving the whip.
Craving the Slanesh love. And I think I'm going to take a proper tangent now, but Age of Sigmar, although we don't play it, I keep my finger on the pulse with the lore.
Yeah.
Slanesh was trapped, imprisoned by Sigmar and the elves and that, and she's now, as the lore moves on, slowly breaking free of her chains. Oh. So as they release more Slanesh stuff, it's going to get more and more. And I found that really cool.
She putting an agenda to the Slanesh.
It is breaking free.
It's better. Slanesh is what it wants to be.
Yeah, what it wants to be. I think it refers to her as a she on the thing I read. But,
does it?
But I won't. Anyway. Cool. So that is games played. Unfortunately, not very long. But
no, not a lot.
And next time is probably not going to be long either because you're going on holiday.
Yeah. Well, hopefully later we will have
we'll play some Guild Ball. And
so we've got that to talk about. But we are going to push forward for the narrative campaign.
Yes.
This is something that we've been talking about
for years.
Since before Crusade came out. It was like, let's do some narrative gaming. Yeah. And then they were like, here's Crusade. And you're like, that's incredible. That's just what I want to do. And it's done.
It's not done, yeah. So life gets in the way.
Yeah.
It's just the motto of this episode.
That's the motto of that'll be my excuse for the remainder of these videos.
Yeah. Life got in the way. Cool. So let's do our Instagram pics. I've cheated. I have 2.
That's not fair. I've got 1.
But I think it's worth having 2
this
time around. So I'm going to go first if you don't mind. Then you may go, and then I'll do my second one.
That sounds fair.
So my first Instagram pic of this week is not necessarily a singular post, although there was one post that sort of solidified that I wanted to choose. The account untamed.brush is the account name.
Okay.
She is the girlfriend or wife, I don't know, I apologise. She might just be close friend, but I think girlfriend or wife of... I know, I might have done, but of Broadsword Wargaming, I think on YouTube. He's fairly large.
Okay. What, in stature or?
No, in terms of following. He's actually a very tall guy, but that's... basically, the story as I understand it is, he did a video of, here's my girlfriend painting her first ever model.
Yeah.
And she followed a Duncan painting tutorial, let's see how well she does.
Yeah.
And then she appears to have got the bug.
Oh, right, okay.
So she's only been painting for like 4 months. But you know when someone's only been painting for 4 months?
And
they're already better than you.
She's already surpassed your 25-year...
I've experienced that, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
First of all, it's fantastic that she found something she really enjoyed. So it was Warcry that got her into it, actually.
Right, okay. A specific warband, or...?
It was the dudes with the snakes, I think.
The dudes with the snakes, yes, I know what you mean.
Where he's got that sort of python wrapped around him and he's looking up.
Yeah.
Very
Voldemort.
So, yeah, it is a bit Voldemort, isn't it? So, yeah, the painting's really good for... Well, it's good for someone who's been painting for 20 years, but for someone who's only been painting for 4 months, it's
really good.
It's pretty impressive. And it's great to see, like, someone who just, got straight into the hobby. Oh, I'll have a go at painting a model, and then...
Yeah.
Got the bug,
and
cool. What I can tell, it's tech. It's because he has another video. It's quite funny. He has another video of showing my girlfriend my pile of shame.
Right.
And she's sort of going around like, "Why have you got all this stuff you don't need?" And I hope in a year's time we get to see her pile of shame because we've all got one, and it happens.
Yeah.
And she'll understand now what it's like.
Multiple piles of shame.
Yeah. So that is my first Instagram pic. I'll put some pictures up. The specific post that sort of caught my attention was an old wood elf model.
Okay.
And he's got deer horns and he's reaching out. It's all very elven, but the way it's painted is beautiful.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of contrast paints involved, but you wouldn't tell from looking at it. It looks.
Well, that's just go off a bit. That is the thing with contrast paints. You can make them look.
They look very good.
Does
look pretty bang on. Yeah. So that is my first pick. Untamed.brush.
Very nice. Okay, mine is not a pick. It's not. Well, there is a specific pick that I want to draw attention to because of something. But this is a person on Instagram that I have been talking to for a long time, and he's not been about for getting on for about a year. He's not put a post up. I've not really heard from him for about a year. It is Nurgle or Die Trying. If you haven't checked his stuff out, go and check it out because it's very, very good. Mainly Death Guard. Well, I say mainly. It's all Death Guard.
All Death Guard.
But he's got a very nice colour scheme. It is sort of 30k style colour, like the creamy.
I love that. That's the way.
Colours. Yeah. With like black trim. Sort of the green has gone. It's gone black. But the picture that I want to draw your attention to is the picture of his Defiler.
Is this what inspired your Defiler idea?
Not as such. I mean, just
it is
an incredible Defiler. It's not the one that got me thinking recently. There was one I saw recently that got me thinking. But the second I got the idea about it and I was thinking about it, I thought it is that nice of a model, and he's done a lot of converting on it. It made me remember something from over a year ago, and I thought I remember he had a picture of, and I went and had a look, and it is a quality little conversion.
I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah, you see there's the Mythic Blight Hauler front, facing. That's what he's used as like the sort of the head. It's got these like multi-melter things on the side. It's fantastic. He's done a lot of work on the back as well, so it's all like guts and stuff attached to the back. But he does do quite a lot of converting on his models, repositioning bits and stuff like that. So check him out. He's got some incredible stuff, and he posted that he's coming back very soon with some more stuff.
I've seen the name, but I don't think I've ever clicked the profile.
So
I'll check him out.
Yeah, he's been. I believe we kind of started at a similar time.
Okay.
There's a couple of people that when I started doing it and dipping your toe into bits and bobs of it. There's a couple of people that sort of like almost started at the same time. I mean, he surpassed me in quality of.
He wouldn't be spinning the doom wheel.
He wouldn't be. Yeah, I'm surprised he still talks. But yeah, check him out. Absolute quality. So
cool.
That's my pick.
I'm going to go with my second choice because I've cheated a little bit this week.
Hit me up.
It's not technically a person. Although I suppose a person is doing it, but it's a product.
It's a spiritual.
It's a horse. No, it's a product, and the company is called Upzone Terrain.
Okay.
And it is one of the smartest ideas I've seen for wargame terrain in all my years as a wargamer.
Okay.
It is essentially, and I'm going to try and explain it in the best way possible. Mm-hmm. This sounds awful. Imagine a pop-up book, yeah?
Yeah.
So what you get is you buy 6 of these folded up bits of card.
Yep.
You unfold them and a building pops up out of it, like a pop-up book.
Okay.
Boosh, put it down. Next one, boosh, put it down. And it's card, but it's heavy, good card. Where it looks here, I'm not held in my hands. And basically, each one is a 6th of a table, so you get 6 of them, and you've got 6 buildings back. And it's all full colour, looks bang on.
And I assume it's all just you flatten it down and you chuck it in a cupboard.
You fold it up, and it is
very cool.
You could literally have it on your bookshelf.
Very cool.
It's pretty impressive, actually.
Well, as we are going to try and make a table, that would be.
I think
quite good.
If you're gaming at home, which obviously with the coronavirus and stuff like that, a lot of people are. Yeah. Space becomes an issue. You can have a table, but not everyone's got a space to have a table out and all the time.
Terrain can be big.
A nightmare, So literally 6 of these things, bam, bam, bam. You'd probably need a few other bits just to litter around because of the way it works, because it's a pop-up, it's always in the middle of the bit of card.
Yeah, so you want to,
So if you just put them down, it comes quite symmetrical, but then you put a few bits around it.
Very cool.
I think if it caught on as well, like from a tournament point of view,
you get a lot of.
Here's your set of scenery.
Yeah.
You put 3 down, I put 3 down. There's ways it could.
They have. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they in the 40k terrain thing? I'm sure there was like something about bringing your own terrain.
Yes, there was something like that. Yeah.
Is that in the rule book or is that?
I think they put it in the chapter approved that's coming out.
Is that it?
I think that might be it.
You can sort of bring certain pieces of terrain that's going to benefit your army. I believe
something like that. So if you bring one of these, slam it down.
That's pretty cool.
You can travel with it. It'll literally fit
in like the front.
In the front bit where you put your codex. So I'm unimpressed. I will put some pictures up. I'll try and put a video up of him just because that's the most impressive bit.
Very cool.
That's why I had 2 picks, because I wanted to pick an actual hobbyist, but then I also wanted to. So I'm allowed 2.
Do what you want.
This is our show, damn it.
Our show.
We won't be judged. Excellent. So we'll take another break. We will come back and we'll hit our topic: distractions within wargaming. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and we're going to be doing our topic for the episode, which is the hobby butterfly distractions within miniature wargaming. So what I've done is I've split it into 3 categories. Distractions within Warhammer 40,000, distractions within Games Workshop, so the plethora of other games that they have, which is a lot now.
Yeah.
Must be 6-7 games now easily. Yeah. And then distractions within miniature wargaming as a whole, so non-Games Workshop games. External things, because there are things beyond Games Workshop. Yeah, tell me.
Okay.
So, distraction within 40k.
Yes.
We'll start. So, you have, I hope you don't mind me saying, a lot of armies.
100%. I do. Yeah.
And but you have small.
I have lots of bits.
Got a little bit of Imperial Guard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you find that slows down your progress on other armies, and would you rather focus on one thing, or are you happy to keep dibbing and dabbing into?
Well, you see, there's the thing is, I think with Games Workshop in general is, I like all of it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of things I don't like about 40k. I give Tau a lot of stick. I don't even mind Tau in so. I like Tau. I don't like the way Tau play.
Yeah, the models are nice. Yeah.
You know, I fishmen are cool. It's a fishman. That's cool. But I've gone off train of thought there. No, what was I saying? So no, I don't think I mind the distraction of it. I don't think I mind going, you know what? I really like the idea of converting up some Imperial Guard to go with my knights. I'm going to dabble and do a bit of that. In hindsight, should I just crack on with Death Guard, or should I just crack on with one army? Probably you should, yeah. But I enjoy that flitting between things.
That's the way you want to do it. I'm opposite, really. I don't do a lot of flitting. I tend to have a laser line focus. Like I've got my Thousand Suns, I have my Drakari, I have my Admech, although 3 is probably not.
I mean, it's not.
But I tend to, and the reason I do it is because, and I kind of wish I was more like you, where I could flit about, but I always, if I'm not working on something that's for those, I always think this is time I could be putting into.
I get that. I do get that.
And the money side as well, because you start looking online, don't you? And you're like, oh, Custodes. And then I've even done it before. I've like filled a basket up with Custodes, and then I've looked at the total, £8-9, and I'm like, but I need for my Thousand Suns X, Y, Z that it doesn't have, and so I always have an internal pressure on me of like, focus on the one thing.
I know what you're saying. With that, I think I find it it's sort of like the flavour of the month. Like, I like Death Guard.
Yeah.
Next month, I'll literally be sat and I'll be on the table. There's Death Guard. I'll look to the side and there's one of my Space Marines, and I'm like, ooh, and it's sort of that. And I know what you mean.
So do you find if you focus on one thing, you get burnt out with it and you can't motivate to paint?
I mean, I do get a bit of burnout, quite a bit. I do.
But is that just painting you get burnt out with?
Painting, not necessarily, because I love my Death Guard, I love my Space Marines, I love the Dark Eldar, I love my Tyranids, but there's too much stuff to do. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff that I've got. The backlog is you're never going to complete your backlog.
No, it has to be an accepted.
Never gonna. If you completed it, you're not human. You are machine.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
If you don't have a single unpainted model, then you're
doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But I get that, what you're saying there about you feel like time spent doing this is I should be concentrating on whatever the flavour of the month is with me, sort of thing. If I'm doing Death Guard, I'll be like, oh, look at them Space Marines. But then I will think like that. I'll think, but I'm doing the Death Guard. Let's do the Death Guard. I have it as spurts of it and go, I'm going to fully paint this and I'll get most of it done. And then just that last bit, that's when it's like, I get I've just...
You do have a lot of like 90% done stuff.
Yeah. I can't help it.
You just can't make that final.
I can't help it.
The struggle is real with focusing in on things. See, I'm very good at, if I start something,
you'll do it. You'll finish
I will finish it.
Yeah.
Because the way I do it is, and this is a tip, 2 tips today from me.
It's too much.
I'm spoiling you. So what I did was, I keep my desk quite clear. I don't like to have loads of models all over my desk. So as soon as I built something, it goes to thing, and then that was the next thing I paint. I don't tend to build,
yep,
and then paint loads of things. Once I've painted it, I have a little piece of paper stuck on the wall next to my desk that says 2020 painted, and I write down what it was. Leviathan.
Yeah.
5 Witches. That feeling of writing it on that bit of paper,
accomplishment,
is enough of a motivation for if you've got 10% of a model left to do and it's 9 o'clock and you're like, I might go to bed, I might have an early night. It's enough to go, yeah, but if I finish it, I can write it on the paper. It is enough. It sounds weird. It sounds like something you do for a child to get them to like tidy their room, but it really does work.
Yeah.
It's like, because then I get to write it down and I get that feeling, that little bit of feeling of
I've accomplished.
Because what I'm going to do is at the end of the year, I'm going to add up all the points I've painted throughout the year, total it, try and beat it next year as points.
Yeah.
So I think that's not a bad measure because a night takes a lot longer to paint, but it's a lot of points.
Yeah, true. Very true. Yeah. That is a good way of doing it.
So that's one way I've found to like really focus myself in on a project.
Yeah.
I don't always, like I've got some half painted stuff, and then as soon as it's painted, into the foam. Straight into the foam.
Yeah. It's
put away, stored.
So I like to get them out and look at them.
You do a lot of looking.
I like to look. I like to do it. Not because I'm like admiring what I've done. It's more just like picturing what I've got, what I can. I don't know. I do. I often just set them all out, and I'm sitting there for like 20 minutes just staring at them, thinking, "That's what. Yeah. I've got. Okay, I could do this. I could do that." But that part of that is where I get all of my next ideas.
Yeah.
I know what would look really good if I made something in the same sort of style of that, and so a lot of that. I like that. I like that sitting there and just mulling it over and thinking of I am always sort of the next thing. Can't help that.
So, yeah. Would you ever get to the point where you would consider an army to be finished? Or do you see it as a continuous... Because some people will say, right, I'm going to do 2,000 points of this army, paint it, done, next project.
Yeah.
Or do you see it as a continuous... I collect Death Guard, as stuff is released, as I fancy stuff, I'll buy it, and I'll keep adding to it, and it's never complete?
I think you can never truly... I mean, you can truly. You could literally buy and paint every single model in that.
But that's the only time you'd consider it to be a finished project, if you like.
I don't look at them as... Yeah, I don't look at it as having an end of a project. It's just a continuous. There's an ongoing thing, and you can, but not in a sense of like I need to keep adding. Not like a rushed sort of thing like that. It's more just you could have 2,000 points, but then what if you want to mix in bits? There's always something you can mix in. There's always something you can add. Or change up or convert or so I don't really ever. I mean, knights, blooming hell.
You don't need
remortgage your house.
You don't need
it. Going to keep going with that.
But there is a point with knights where it's like, unless you're going to get into playing apocalypse games and you really want to take it to the next level.
You know.
Knights are sort of armor. It's like I literally have everything I can have.
Yeah. And that's where then I'd go. Well, even with the changes in ninth, I'll make a little Imperial Guard.
This is allies.
I'll make some stuff, but theme them and theme everything, and stuff like that. So I don't know. What about you? Do you think that is a time when an army is actually done, or just it's like going through the motions of?
I think knowing when you are done with an army.
Right.
So for me, loved my Tyranids, absolutely loved them for the period of time. We had a bit of a brief break. When we came back, I wasn't feeling them as much. Mm-hmm. For me, that army is done.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all painted. There's very little unpainted.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with the paint job. If it sits in a box from now till the end of the time, to be honest with you, if I had more space, I'd have them out in a glass cabinet or something.
Yeah.
For me, that is a finished project. That's not to say that I wouldn't go back to it 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And put it. That's still on the table. But for me, it's completed. I have no desire to add any more to it.
I know what you're saying.
Not because I've got everything, but just because of my desire to continue with that.
Do you think that's because you've moved on from that army in general?
I think yeah.
You've moved on from the Tyranids.
Yeah, I think that's the only time I could say that project is completed. Is probably the wrong word, but I'm done with it.
Done for now.
Done for now.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen. I might all of a sudden get. I did mention in like episode 1 that I was going to sell my Tyranids.
Yeah.
So I got some bubble wrap, got a box, started pulling all the models out, started looking at them, and really started to be like, I don't know if I want to get rid of these.
There is an emotional.
So I went into my girlfriend and I was like, I don't really know if I want to get rid of these. Like, not because she was making me, but because that's how.
She stood over here with the dustbin.
Get rid! Come on! But because I was like, really, because I can get a good bit of money for them, and I was like, I could put that into my thousands, and she was like, well, if you don't want to get rid of them, don't get rid of them. Like,
yeah,
you've got to be 100% sure that you're not going to regret it. And I was like, do you know what, you're right. So I put them back in the box, put them away, and I was like, maybe in 6 months' time, I'll come back to it. But it was funny getting it out and looking at it and being like, oh, here's my Swarm Lord.
Yeah.
Because that Swarm Lord one I always loved. It was always like a big thing. Cool. I was looking at it and I was like, do I want to get rid of this? So it's funny.
I think that is the thing. It's like
the emotional connection when you put time into painting them.
Because I think about it, I don't think I've never done it, and I don't think I would sell anything. Like, I've never really bought anything and not not now, don't think I like that or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's funny how easy I found it to part with my Space Marines.
You see, yeah.
I just got dead quick, gone. Didn't even feel a single, and they were my first army. That's probably the difference, isn't that? I was kind of, I will never play this army again. The Tyranids, although I've said I'll never play them again, there is a 1% chance that sometime in the future, and it's that little 1%.
When Tyranids are the meta.
When Tyranids become incredible, it's that little 1% in the back of your mind that just says, don't get rid of them. So it's interesting. So
you sold your Space Marines at the wrong time. They become incredible.
But they were all mini Marines, so
that's it.
I don't like them.
I
think it just looks
Firstborn.
weird. I think it just looks weird, that's all. Just looks odd.
You look odd.
No, I do look odd, you're right.
Space Marines, mate, I prefer.
I know you do, you do.
I prefer the old Firstborn. And not that I don't like Primaris, but I prefer the Firstborn stuff to the Primaris.
Each their own. I think it was Primaris that made me sell them. I was like, I don't want these anymore because
it's upsetting.
It is. I got rid of them, no problem.
Yeah.
So, keeping up with the meta, although we don't really keep up with it. You designed the meta and it follows you, as we've seen.
It's a gift and I'll continue.
Do you find that motivating? Not so much keeping up with the meta, but keeping up with new codexes, new releases. Particularly someone that collects Space Marines. Like, a big reason I sold my Space Marines is I don't want to have to keep up with this constant thing of new releases.
I mean, since the start of 7th, 8th. Since the start of 8th, it has been relentless. Space Marines.
Yeah. Because that's another form of distraction, is the new shiny stuff coming out before you finish the stuff you've already bought.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for me with the Space Marines, and just not wanting to keep up with that level of...
as a Space Marine player, I've always loved Space Marines. From when you first showed me... I know my first one was Dark Eldar, but that's just because I'm depraved. But Space Marines, I think everybody...
You had Space Wolves, so it's not like it's new.
Yeah. I think everybody, deep down, no matter what, loves a... Oh, I swore.
No, it's true.
But loves Adeptus Astartes.
They are the first thing you see when you see 40k, and they are the thing that makes you go, oh.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That is the thing. Yeah. Everyone always says that Ultramarines are the poster boys or whatever. Space Marines are the poster boys for Games Workshop.
They just happen to be...
always painted in blue.
But, completely random topic, Nick Bayton from Games Workshop did post on Twitter about that, and they were like, why is it always Ultramarines? Why is it always Ultramarines? Because the studio makes sense for them to have one colour, so they can do the shots of everything.
Yeah.
If they had one done in Imperial Fist, one done in Ultramarines, it'd make the pictures look really weird when they do the big group shots.
Very true.
So if you are complaining about Ultramarines being the poster boys, there's a perfectly good business reason as to why.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. The new, when they bring out new stuff, it does. I think for a lot of people, it does make you go, oh, I need that. But I'll be honest with you, I think they've not quite hit the mark with everything. There's been some things they've brought out which
I feel like you're referring to the buggy.
No, I would differ with the book. I quite like.
No, don't talk. No,
I quite like
it is hideous.
It needs a bit of change. Some bits.
It is hideous. It is the worst model Games Workshop have done in the last 5 years. I stand by it. I hate it. It's a Mario Kart.
Yeah, it does look a bit silly. A few changes.
You could make
that's
it.
That's all
good.
It needed, and it would look cool because it's a cool idea. Bloke, ATV, going a lot. Cool idea. But it's stuff like that, the turret,
the bunker thing.
I don't really. Why? You don't need that.
Yeah.
I understand. You'd have them bits and bobs, but I know they've brought out bits of terrain for each arm.
Yeah.
I get it, but I don't think it looks that cool.
It's interesting.
But yeah, there is a lot. The Space Marines have had a lot of love.
Because one of the reasons I like collecting Dark Eldar is that I know that my Cabalites will be relevant for.
Yeah.
They might do now, I've said it, but they're very unlikely to release a new Cabalite box within the next 3 or 4 years.
Well, it's been about 10 years.
But they've held up. They're very good models.
They're very good models.
I don't think there's any reason to do a new box. There's other things that need it far more within Eldar.
I think Dark Eldar in general
is a great range.
The majority is because they've updated all of the racks.
Yeah.
I believe the grotesques as well.
Well, it's the one model, but
I believe the plastic now. The racks are plastic. I don't know about the.
I think it's fine cast.
It's still fine cast because I think the Cabal court you can have. I think all of those are still.
They're fine cast. Yeah, I've got a couple in fine cast. Yeah.
So there's a few bits updated to plastic, but they're still cool kits. Yeah. Very cool kits.
And that for me is a big motivation to stick with that armies because I know that.
It's not going to change.
All of a sudden, I'm not going to have some really tall Cabalites that make them other ones look small.
I know what you're saying.
So that's a big thing.
Just build the base up.
Yeah.
Illusions. My
they are the same
firstborn are the same height, and they look just as badass.
You can get around it. You can get
ways of doing it. But yes.
So.
Where did we start? What was that?
Distractions within 40k.
Distractions within 40k.
Yeah. So they're clearly there. They're not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Especially with things like burnout and stuff like that. I think there's the conclusion. I mean, at the end of the day, collect what you want to collect, buy what you want to buy, paint what you want to paint. But there's something to be said, I think, for focusing on a project.
Yeah.
I think if I had many half-finished armies where there was no way I could put a fully painted army down because I just don't have enough individual things to put a full army together, that would demotivate me to have that much unpainted stuff, that much stuff that was part done.
Yeah.
If I get too much stuff that's part done on my desk, I'll start to feel really like, quick, let's get it done.
Which I think, depending how quick you can bash out
and how good you want to make it as well.
And making stuff, because that does take a long time putting them together. I think the sweet spot is focusing on 1 or 2 or 3. 2 or 3.
Definitely.
Is the sweet for me anyway. Some stuff I've not touched for years.
I've got 3 armies. I've got 3 armies, and I'm quite happy to continue with them. Maybe some allies, but I consider that allies are the same army.
That's fleeting. You're adding in.
You're adding into your current army.
Imperial Guards and Loyal 32, which now isn't as good because you don't pay for it, but yeah. So no, cool. I know what you're saying.
So, distractions within Games Workshop.
Yeah.
So they've got a lot of games now. You've got 40k, you've got Age of Sigmar, you've got Warcry, you've got Underworlds, you've got Adeptus Titanicus, you've got the flying one, the Aeronautica Imperialis.
Yeah.
You've got Necromunda.
Yeah.
Blood Bowl. That's 8. I've probably missed a couple as well.
Yeah.
Kill Team technically is a different game to 40k, although
But it is a different setup. Yeah. There's a lot.
And do you think Games Workshop are doing themselves a disservice by having so many games, or is it?
No, I mean, on their side of it, they don't have to put all these different games out, and I mean,
but is there
making money at the end of the day? But I think I like the way some of them are linked.
That was the point I was going to make. It's a very good point. No, it's fine. Games where you can use the same models in multiple games, Kill Team 40k or Age of Sigmar, you can do the same models. I think you can use in Underworld, Warcry, and Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
That is a really good idea, and obviously brings people in. I think the key thing is, and Games Workshop have said that this themselves, you can't play them all. Don't try and play them all.
No.
And I think they say that because having someone join the hobby and try and play every Games Workshop game is not advantageous, because they're probably not going to enjoy the games individually as much as they would if they're focusing on one or two. And
they might suffer big ass burnout and just fall out of love with the hobby in general.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like I'm not getting anywhere trying to keep up. Like my girlfriend always says, because obviously if something gets released, the first thing I do is look at this cool thing that she doesn't care about, but she at least pretends to care. But she does say, they release a lot, and how do you keep up, and how do people keep up, and they're releasing too much. And to which I say, no one has ever complained about Games Workshop releasing too much.
New stuff is...
But you can see as an outsider, me going, oh, there's a new game coming out that I'm interested in, how it might look like, how do you keep up with all this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I think I've chosen the Games Workshop games I want to play now, really.
Yeah. I mean, Underworld's fantastic. 40k is big. 40k is most. It's either 40k or Sigmar for whichever people, and it's just what you've always done. I like the idea of the rest of them. I don't think I'd ever. I like North whatever it's called. No. I love the idea of that. I don't think I'd ever. I don't know. I might do in the future, but I don't think. And the same with the Titanicas. Love the idea of that, but I don't think I'd do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's just. Again, it comes back to that time thing. You've got a limited amount of time. You know, you can only put so much into each one, and because we quite like having fully painted stuff, there's no way we can keep up with it, you know. So
I mean, that's just us. That's just our.
I think a lot of people, though, I think the prevailing thing is pick the games you want to play. Try and not get distracted by every game they release.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I think it's just going to be too much for anyone. I can't think of anyone, unless you won the lottery, you don't have a job, and you spend your life that can afford to and has the time to play all 8 of those games that we just listed to a point where they're getting the full enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to play a game fairly regularly to properly enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing Adeptus Titanicus once a year,
that's the thing. I think making the time you're putting into that worth it. Actually playing. You could. I mean, a lot of the things for a long time we had Underworld stuff. We'd probably only played like one game. But we bought 6 Wargames. So you're like, they just sat there.
Yeah.
It's one of them. It's just making that time to
do it, and then once you play it, you learn the game more, and your enjoyment, I think, goes up because you're learning the little intricacies of the game. Yeah. I think it's better to play 3 games and understand it. Than play 8 games.
Know it inside out.
Every time you play, you're looking through the rule book because you can't remember which rule goes with what.
An hour's game turns into a 4-hour game because you constantly having to revise.
And then you don't play it again for 6 months. You know that I think is a key one. So narrow it down. Pick the games you want to play. I think a good point is if you're interested in a game, try it out before you buy it.
Yeah.
You know, like you were quite keen with Aeronautica.
Yeah. Before
we go ahead and commit, go to your Games Workshop and see. Have a trial game. Because it might be something that you really don't like. Yeah.
That one particularly did look similar to the Star Wars.
The X-Wing one.
Played with that, didn't you? Which you thought was pretty good, didn't you?
X-Wing was great. Why did I not carry on with it? Time and money. True. It wasn't. It was a great game. Yeah. It wasn't so good that I wanted to sacrifice time that I was putting into something else.
Yeah.
And the models look really good on my shelf, so because they're pre-painted and
That's the bit.
But yeah, to be fair, that's a fair point. If you are interested in something like Aeronautica, but there's a Star Wars version that's very similar with pre-painted models, there's a lot of things to play.
But yes.
Yeah, so the final category of distractions, and this is the one I am worse for, not so much buying it, but I go into looking into it and nearly buying it, and I get ready to, is distractions outside of Games Workshop. So other games that aren't Games Workshop games, board games that use miniatures is another one.
Yeah.
And also a thing we've been talking about doing for a long time, just painting something for the pleasure of painting it. A display piece. Something like that.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted to really do like a display. We spoke about entering the Iron School C Studios thing.
Yeah.
Not because we think we would have a remote chance of winning it,
just for the
experience and the feedback and stuff.
Yeah.
But to commit to painting a model for that is hours and hours of time you're not putting into the games you play.
Yeah. That's the thing again. Really spending as much time as some of the the professional painters do. You're talking. I remember when Mortarion dropped, and I spoke to the guy in Games Workshop because it was on its little display case going around. Looks beautiful, painted, fantastic. I says to it was talking about something. I said, absolutely fantastic how it's been painted. He says it took the guy something like 250 hours of paint time, and I was like, for me, squeezing 250 hours of paint time in is over a year.
Yeah, let's do some really basic maths.
Yeah.
You paint for 2 hours a day, 255 by 2, so 125 days of 2 hours a day. That is not achievable for...
I mean, sometimes I get 2
hours
a week.
And at the end of it, you've done one model.
One model. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was beautiful, it looks beautiful, and, you know there is a difference in spending the time on it. You can go back, you adjust bits, but it's you've got to weigh up that, can I afford to spend X amount of time doing that, but then I'm not going to play any games.
Yeah,
because you can obviously play the games, but I've not got a fully painted army to play.
And a 4 hour game is 4 hours you're not painting, and if that's so, I think although I would love to paint a display model, if I did do it, or I will do it, it will be a project that takes me maybe 2 years. I'll do bits and bobs here and there, and just slowly work on it.
Yeah.
Other games, I'm going to list off some games that I really like the look of.
Just before you do, just about other games. I was thinking about it when you were saying it. There's not a lot of other games, bar potentially Guild Ball. I don't usually get too distracted from Games Workshop.
I was going to say this. You're very good. Although you get distracted within Games Workshop, you will focus on 40k.
Yeah.
I'm the other way, in that I'm always getting distracted by games from other companies.
Yeah.
The Song of Ice and Fire game, the Game of Thrones one.
Yeah.
I so want some of that.
It does look very good. It looks very good.
Guild Ball obviously has taken me and pulled me in.
Has you by the Guild Balls.
It has me by the Guild Balls. Quite, and it will continue to do so. Conquest, which is a fantastic game we played at the Games Expo.
Yes. Yeah, that was cool.
Which is a sort of rank and flank thing.
Which I beat you in the trial run.
Did you? I do not recall.
Just to let you know.
And then also I get distracted by board games. So there's that, you might have seen the board game Gloomhaven. Massive board game. Loads of miniatures with it. But it's a board game that you play through with 5 people.
Did we played a thing of that?
So we played
like a scenario.
Oathsworn, which was similar to it's the same sort of big scale board game, big miniatures, and you'd play it through.
The miniatures, if I remember, were mint as well.
I so love to have like the Oathsworn thing where you get a group of 4 of us, play through it.
Because it's like, am I right in thinking it's kind of like a D&D, but
a little bit, it's like a D&D cross with a board game, cross with a miniatures game. The only one. I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah.
Again, it's a tap. But the problem is with those is for the base set of them, normally it's £100 plus.
Yeah.
It's money I could be putting into the Thousand Suns that I could be putting into the Jakari. And are you ever going to sit down
How often
are you
we
going to
play
get to
that
play it?
compared to playing maybe 40k and stuff?
It's the same sort of problems.
It's a dilemma.
But yeah, I'm easily distracted by stuff outside of Games Workshop. Definitely.
Quite loyal.
Okay, that is it for episode 3.
Yep.
Hopefully you've enjoyed it. We did cut the conversation down a little bit because it's gone on for quite a while, and we've got some Chinese food on the way.
And it's very important, food.
to get something out. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment. Again, if you didn't, please also leave a comment because it helps us decide what we can do better. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Hopefully we've both done our challenge and no one's spinning the wheel.
I'm not going to be here, so
True.
I'm going to try. We try.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got something out of the conversation as well. And leave some comments on how you deal with distractions.
Yeah.
See you in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.